Show. We oftentimes take the simple things for granted, like being able to walk or play a sport. For some, this is not always the case. Today, we have our guest in studio with us, Sanshige, to share her story of living with a rare disease. Hello, Sanshige. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Your name is so interesting, though. I've never heard it before.
Please don't ask me where it come from.
Yeah. So everybody asks you, and you still haven't figured
I
it out.
still haven't figured it out. So
Your mommy and daddy is responsible for your name.
I do have a daddy. Or at least I don't count one. I've
You don't
never
count.
seen one.
Yeah, so what's your mommy's answer to that? Did you ask her?
About the father. or
The name.
Oh, okay. The name I have, she told me that there was somebody in the district who had a similar name and she wanted to use it.
Yeah.
But of course, old time days, they spell it wrong.
Oh.
Hence why I end up with Sanshige.
So everywhere you go with somebody, they can't pronounce it.
They can't pronounce it, and if they spell it wrong.
Yeah. All right. You're quite bubbly. This is how people describe you? Your
Yes,
vibe?
I don't know why.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah. So you just have this energy that just exudes from you, literally. And this is just how you are, and people are naturally drawn to you. Yeah?
Most times.
Yeah?
Most times.
Most times.
Most
What are the other times when you're not
Just like
bubbly?
everybody else, you have your down days, and so the bubbly, excited person don't necessarily come out.
All right, what do you want people to understand and learn about you? And what is it that you want to share with us today? Because I am so willing to learn. I'm excited about it.
What do I want the people to learn about me? That nothing about me is different from you. I'm just like you. I'm just in a different form. Maybe a little bit better if you ask me, but still.
Yeah. All right. So what's the name of the disease that you live with?
Osteogenesis imperfecta, and it's in its simplest form, it means brittle bones. So you break easily until a certain point in your life, and then you will mellow out and then start breaking again at later years.
All right. Help me to understand breaking. What
Breaking.
Right. I know the word breaking, but I would help myself and the viewers to understand it a lot more.
So you break bones specifically. Break bones, any bone, wherever you could simply be walking and you'd break something. Well, then, not now.
Right.
You would be walking and you could break something. You're standing the wrong way. You shatter a leg or a hand. If somebody holds you too tight, you can break. Basically, that's it in a nutshell.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So, what did your mother tell you about the condition when you were born?
Well, not much was known when I was born. I don't want to say how long ago. When I was born, not much was known about the condition or what caused it. It still isn't. I mean, there's research to show how to handle a child being born with osteogenesis, or as many people call it nowadays, OI. So there are ways to handle a child, better clinics. Back then you didn't have that much. So going to a doctor and showing up with a child with broken bone, you would term as being abusive as a parent.
Yeah.
When you naturally didn't do anything, it's just the child itself.
Well, no. What is the story that your mother told you when she first recognized that something was off?
Well, I was born with legs deformed, and so that was the very first thing. I lived with it for a few months. She watched it, and then she realized that something was wrong, so she took me to the hospital, and that brought a whole new world of, I want to say excitement, but it wasn't at that point for her. Right.
Yeah. Did she describe how she felt in that moment? Was she confused?
We've had the discussion before, but I don't think she's ever listed what it is that she was feeling. To her, there was a situation, she had to deal with it. She did the best she could.
Right. At what age did you recognize the condition?
For myself,
Right.
I still don't.
You still don't? You still don't? Explain that.
No,
right.
it's just, to me, it's just something I have to live with.
Right.
It's nothing that defines who I am. So unless necessarily, I'll never tell you, oh, I have a condition. because it's not who I am. It's a part of me, but it's not who I am.
Right.
So to tell you that I recognize it, medical purposes, yes, but for an individual, no.
Right. But having knowledge that you might break easily, right? What were some of the things that you couldn't do as a child and wanted to do?
Play sports.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to play sports and I wasn't able to. I never learned to walk until I was about somewhere between 10 to 12. My mother says it's not 11, it's older than 11, but it's not quite at 12.
Yeah.
So simple joys like actually walking or not being in a wheelchair for 6 or 7 months or 7 years is what I wanted.
Right, right. Now, so when you saw the other children playing, and how did you play? How did you interact with? Because
with my mouth.
Yeah.
With my mouth.
With your mouth.
And very loud.
Yeah, yeah.
But interaction with others was hard because I couldn't physically participate in much activities that drew my interest, and so I had to stay in a wheelchair or just sit back and watch the crowd. That made it hard because you want to go there as a kid, you want to be involved, you want to get active, you want to know why Alrica run up and down and you can't. But eventually you learn this is just who you are, so you find coping mechanisms.
Right. I want for the children that are watching you right now and learning from you, right? How can they help other children to understand what is happening to them? Because we know children, they may not necessarily understand what's happening, and that child can be bullied or anything like that.
Be cautious. Be cautious of the things you say or the way you say something. It's not necessarily always what you say, but how you say it. And that makes a world of a difference in terms of person's self-esteem. If a child's self-esteem is damaged, more than likely they'll have that for the rest of their life. Unlike me, who can, as they would say, water for duck's back. It's not so easy for everybody else.
Right. All right. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about how you've developed, that back. So when the water hits it, it runs off. We take a break. When we come back, we continue our conversation with Sanchige. Sanchige is here with us, and she continues her story. Now, as you grew older, what are some of the adjustments that you began to make to ensure that you keep yourself safe?
Going up stairs.
Yeah. What was that like? Getting on the staircase.
So for a few, like I stated earlier, for a few years I wasn't able to walk, and going up stairs I had to be carried. By the time I figured it out myself, I would climb up backwards. So I'd sit, push up, until I got to the top. Getting down was not so easy, but I tried the same thing, just a little slower, so I don't fall to break anything. But it worked out.
So you always wanted to walk, and you said you started walking at about 11?
At about 11.
Tim to that day when you did that.
The best day of my life. How did I do it? I was graduating from primary school.
Yeah?
My mother has never seen me walk in years. Nobody has. And so as a graduation gift, I walked to my graduation and back.
What were you telling yourself the months and weeks and days leading up to graduation that you were able to get up from your chair and walk?
Well, by this time, I was walking on a crutch. So person still had to help me, but I'd use a crutch. So I think it was probably a couple of days before, and I realized everybody's marching and enjoying. And I'm like, me really go walk up this up on a crutch? Like, no. No, I can't do this. Not in my pretty dress on a crutch. So at the beginning of the line, I gave my mother the crutch. She was standing
what
there
was your
looking
reaction?
at me like, what are you doing? So I go and walk. She's like, no. Yeah.
Wow.
Just like that. And I never took back the crutch from her.
Did you notice anything in her eyes when you told her that? Do you recall anything?
She made nice and scream and clap and behave like a mother would. She got all excited.
Yeah. And what did that moment, mean to you right there?
Release. It felt like I was getting released.
What were the other children saying?
Everybody was shocked because nobody has ever seen me walk.
Yeah.
The last time I walked, I was probably 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah.
At that point. So, right through primary school, I never walked. I was always carried or ushered by somebody.
Yeah.
So at that point, everybody was looking at me like, sure, you're all right.
I love your mother's love. How would you say that she really, support you and love you? Because, of course, even to share your story with others as well, how gentle she was with that as well.
My mother is not gentle, let's make that clear. It's a roughneck.
Yeah.
Straight through. But she was determined that I would never be a statistics.
Yeah.
Not for her. So anything that had to require easily for other persons, I had to figure out a way. And she would never tell me. I had to figure this out. How are you going to get up the stairs? How are you going to walk? What do you want to be in life? I had to figure that out for myself. She would support the decision, but she wouldn't help me to figure it out.
Wow. During your teenage years, did you have any breaking, and how do you recognize in a moment that, okay, I might have a breaking here? What's it like?
I haven't broken anything in probably 15 years or more. No, maybe a lot more than that. The last time I broke, I was in primary school. I was told not to try and jump, but I just got legs in my eyes, that is. So I wanted to try them out, and I did. I got the bitter end of the stick. So I sat there with the broken leg, looking, because I couldn't say I broke the leg after I was just warned. So I sat there for a while until she realized, and that was the last memory I have of breaking anything. I've done countless of surgeries.
Yeah?
Straight up until I was probably about 14, 15.
What were the surgeries for?
They're all correctional surgeries. They're all to fix something.
Right. No, that's a great, approach to living. You want to do so many things. And you're determined that, I'm going to get on the move.
And I've done most of it already. Bucket list done.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you do? What probably other persons living with the disease would not be willing to do?
Walk. That's the biggest thing. Most persons who have osteogenesis have a type 1, which is the most severe.
Oh, so there are different types. Explain the different types.
So there's 8 types to it.
Yeah.
And it varies depending on your climate, depending on who is around you, how you manage each type. Don't ask me my type. I don't know. Jamaica is not that inclined to test to find out genetically what type you are.
Right.
But for most persons, they're in a wheelchair. They have very short limbs because they've broken so many times. They can't lift weight. And I do all of that.
How do you help people who might probably, and you can tell me whether or not it happens to you, who might not understand your life or your condition, and they might probably try to ridicule you even while growing up?
I don't explain.
You don't
I
explain?
don't have time for that.
Why not?
Because everybody, every one of us has humanity. It's for you to use it. So I'm not going to sit down and explain to you why I walk with a limb, why I use a crutch, or why I use a wheelchair just to satisfy your ego. Say what you want. That's fine.
Yeah.
Not bother me.
Where do you get this attitude, this confidence from? Because, say what you want to say, but hey,
I'm going to do it anyways.
Is living her life.
My mother.
Yeah. Right. So you enter like competitions and stuff like that. I can only imagine that now because of your personality.
I'm a drama queen, yes. I have medals mostly for drama and theater. Most of my work is done there. Or back in high school, I did debating.
Yeah.
A lot.
And they never wanted to test you.
No.
Right.
I won my first match. First time standing up in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
I won my first match, best speaker. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, so you're studying now?
I'm finished.
You finished studying?
Finished completely.
What did you pursue?
I did a degree in human resource management and I minored in marketing.
Yeah? So you're going to take on the corporate world now with Storm. So you're job hunting now?
I'm secured for now.
Yeah.
Job-wise, I have a job.
Great, great, great. No, trust me, you are doing great things, and we're going to talk
Not
more.
yet.
You know, oh, this is just the tip.
The tip of the iceberg. I have legs, I have to use them before they go in.
All right, cool. So we take a break. When we come back, we continue to talk with Sanchige. Alex Show. Welcome back. We continue our story as we explore osteogenesis imperfecta. Now, you don't want to tell us your age, right? So, but how are you living now with osteogenesis imperfecta?
Good and bad.
What's the good?
The good is that I'm walking, I'm moving about, I'm doing things I never thought I'd be doing at this age. I'm living life as completely as possible, given the current pandemic. But compared to where I was before, I'm doing a lot better and I'm a lot happier with this stage.
Yeah. Right. So that's the bad?
The bad. I still can't do everything.
Right. What is it that you want? What are some of the things that you really want to do? One thing that you really want to do.
If I do that, we're going to start crying.
What's that? Let me hear it.
I want to have kids.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I cannot do at this moment.
Yeah. How does that make you feel?
Like hell. It feels like getting a beating when you're here.
Yeah.
And you're not sure what's to come or how this will work out.
Yeah. Okay. So so do you date? Are you in a relationship?
You ever ask me that?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's very hard to date because most men look at me for a fantasy. That makes it a lot hard. And they'll play the fool for as long as it takes. But there have been moments where I found one and two that was good for a moment or two.
All right. Well, that's good. You're getting out there.
Yes.
Yeah, you're getting out there, right? So, do others look up to you as a mentor? Because now you have to help others who probably just in their teenage years or younger, how to cope with osteogenesis.
It's not just younger, it's everybody.
Yeah.
It's everybody. I've had family members who tell me I make them want to do things. It's like, me?
Yeah.
Girl, no. But it is good to hear when persons tell you that they look up to you, that they value how you view life and they like who you are as a person.
Yeah. What is that one moment that you can recall where you looked yourself in the mirror and you made a decision in that moment to be the best version of yourself?
Wanting more out of life made that decision for me. I never had to look in a mirror to make the decision. Just the mere fact that I wanted more than sitting in a chair. I wanted more than having to have people to depend on for everything. I can walk the stairs. I have a job. I have a business. I have a podcast. I have so much things. And it's good to know I can do that without the help of others.
What's the business you have?
I have a little teeny business called Sans Creatives.
Yeah, what's that? What do you do?
We make artisans, so like home decor pieces or cute little trinkets that you can use in everyday life.
Great. And what's your podcast about?
So my podcast is Wine Talk, and it's centered around showcasing persons who have gone through life and the things that they have accomplished.
Why did you decide to go that route?
Because it's me.
Yeah.
It is who I am.
Right.
And I like to showcase my talent, but I don't want to be selfish. Because there are others who have gone through far worse than I have. And I like showcasing that. I like talking to people, like hearing what's your story. How did you accomplish this? What did you do? Maybe I can learn something. Who knows?
Yeah. No, do you now think about that? Probably no. I mean, you haven't had a breaking or in 15 years, you said. Do you get up sometimes wondering if it might happen? Do you fear it?
So currently, I'm not going to break that easy, but then there are other things that comes into play. So right now, most of my days, I'm in pain. You won't know unless I tell you, but I'm in pain most days because there are other complications that comes with being an osteogenesis patient.
Right. Why don't you break so easily now?
So there's some chemical reaction with the body and going through puberty and menstruation that allows you to strengthen the bones. So you don't break as easy. But as the years grow older and you decline physically, then you go back to that stage.
Wow. So this is going well. I like that. When you connect with people who are going through tough situations, and when you're able to give them words of encouragement and motivation, you know,
It's never like that.
it's never like that.
It's never like that. I'll just be sitting and talking to you, and by me talking to you, I guess people find
They find it just like that. It's
just
like you don't go out
because
of your,
I have
like you don't
friends
go
who
out of
tell
your
me
way.
that's how they fall in love with me. The conversations that we've had, the way I express myself.
You just don't go out of your way to.
No, I'm not that person. I'm not a bragger. I'm not a boaster. So I'm not going to go out of my way to tell Alric who Sanchige is. Anything you want to perceive in your mind, that's up to you. If you come and ask me, then I'll answer you.
Right.
But yeah, that's basically it.
What would you like to say to your mother now, for your friends who have always been there for you, supporting you, loving you, cheering you on, as well as probably you the more cheering for them too, right?
Most times.
Right. What would you like to say to them for their support and also to help other people to learn about the disease or the condition?
To my mother, well, maximum love, respect. I don't think I could do what you do so effortlessly. To the friends who have held hands, or you lose someone as you go along the way. That's a natural progression of life. I'm still grateful for every experience, everyone I've ever spoken to or had a connection with. You either taught me something or show me what I didn't want. So it's like there's no bad to meeting somebody. It's for me to take the lessons that comes with it.
This world is such a beautiful place, and so are you.
Thank you.
No, man, I love your attitude. You know, you're just going on and on and on, and it's a good thing. And because now I know for sure that you have inspired many today through this show, through this platform as well.
I'm always happy and excited to share. Like I say, I won't necessarily get up and tell you, but if you ask, I'll answer.
Yeah. All right, great. Thank you, Sanchige. Your name is not a common name, but
No,
it's
and
unique.
I've not heard it ever.
Yeah? They're going to start taking the name now.
That's fine.
All right. Thank you so very much for sharing with us and for coming and, you know, telling your story. You know, that is important to us here at the Alric Show.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So we want to thank you so very much for sharing in the story of Sanchige. The Alric Show will be back next week.
Alric Show.